I'd like to call to order the Monday, March 3rd, 2025 meeting of the Lake Zurich Village Board. Clerk Johnson, would you please call the roll?
Mayor Boynton,
Here.
Trustee Euchre,
Here.
Trustee Marks,
Here.
Trustee Riley,
Here.
Trustee Chagru,
Here.
Trustee Wider,
Present.
Trustee Spicone is absent and excused.
Okay, we have a quorum. Would you please stand and join us in the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, next item on the agenda is public comment. Public comment is an opportunity for residents to comment briefly on matters included on the agenda and otherwise of interest to the Board of Trustees. Public comment is limited to 30 minutes in total and up to 5 minutes per speaker. And we'll take public comments first off from the sign-in sheet. Trustee Chagru. Okay, Gloria Palmblatt is first. Ted?
Yeah, we're
Ted
gonna switch it
Marciniak?
up, yeah.
You switched it out? Okay, Ted, you're
Audible.
first.
We'll call it audible, thank you. Okay, good evening. My name is Ted Marciniak. I am the Township Manager for Ela Township. I'm here tonight to discuss with you a budget initiative presented by Governor Pritzker in his recent State of the State, specifically regarding the consolidation or elimination of township governments. Since his speech, a bill has been introduced, SB 2504, which seeks to make it easier to eliminate townships. SB 2504 seeks to lower the petition threshold to 5% of registered voters in the most recent township election. Currently, that threshold is 10%, which will allow communities to add referendums to eliminate or consolidate their township government. The legislation would also allow for county boards to initiate a referendum at the county level to also eliminate all townships within that county. I want to be very clear, abolishing townships will not reduce the state's bottom line, nor balance its budget. Townships are not duplicative, nor are they little-known units of government. Ela Township prides ourselves on our ability to coordinate with our municipalities, including the Village of Lake Zurich. Many of our services are reserved for our most vulnerable residents. Ela Township Supervisor Gloria Palmblad will speak in more detail regarding those services here shortly. Reducing or eliminating townships will not increase the efficiency of delivering these services by transferring them to either the village or the county. I'll conclude here tonight by stating that township residents already currently have the ability to consider township consolidation through our elections and our current petition process for abolishment referendums. Thank you for your time this evening, and we appreciate your continued support of Ela Township.
Thank you, Ted. Next is Gloria Palmblad, our Ela Township Supervisor. Gloria, welcome.
Good evening, everyone. As your township supervisor, I feel it is in everyone's utmost interest to inform you about SB 2504. We've all heard this subject before. Some public officials have even used this as a campaign strategy. But due to the requirements now being reduced from 10% to 5%, we absolutely feel we need to take this very seriously. Abolishing Ela Township would require the municipalities and the county to step up in such ways to help us to carry these services, or most likely, the vital services we currently offer will simply disappear, such as emergency assistance. We provide financial help with residents who are behind in their rent, utilities, or car repairs and are unable to drive to work. Social services. Currently, Ela Township offers both one-on-one and group sessions, which are free to all of our residents. I also want to note that both the Lake Zurich Fire and police departments often send referrals to Ela Township. In fact, I think they're our number one referral service or system, whatever you want to call it. We also manage 2 cemeteries, one which resides in Lake Zurich. Senior services. Ela Township is the only local source for helping those over 55 plus navigate SHIP counseling, which is those preparing to transition from individual or group health insurance to Medicare, MedSup, Social Security, and on and on. Our senior resource specialists helped over 200 people alone during open enrollment last year. So I'd like to just provide a little handout here, if I could. Mm-hmm. I'm handing you a copy of my personal tax bill.
For that
Which is
mansion?
public
For that
knowledge.
mansion of yours?
We can
Yeah,
share.
it's in public knowledge anyway, so it's no big deal.
Okay.
But I provide you this. I'm doing this to show you that out of my entire tax bill of just over $7,000, only $130 goes to Eula Township. So we have several parks, several buildings, and loads of services that we provide to our residents here. So I think it's important to get the word out to everybody. That's why we're here to speak to you tonight. The severity of this bill has just come to our attention just in the past week and a half as part of Governor Pritzker's State of the State address. We are going to every single municipality and giving them the same speech, so to speak. As soon as we have more information and formulate a plan of action, whether it's getting residents to sign letters or petitions, we'd like to reach out to your staff and Ray Keller, hopefully, and see what we can do to get, send these documents down to our state reps and our new senator in Springfield to tell them that we disagree with this,
And
whatever we're gonna call it, this law.
What was the bill number again?
SB 2504. It still has not been assigned to a committee. This is very new, but they're down there now, so it might be going to committee this week. I'm not sure.
Okay,
Okay? Any
deal.
other questions?
nope.
Okay, thank you, everybody.
Thanks, Gloria. Okay, next is, I'm going to missay this. I'll try to do the best I can. Civitas Circle?
Good evening. My name is Olga Stigel. I'm here on behalf of our company, Civitas Circle. We are an upholstery company providing services to Lake Zurich residents as well as neighboring communities. We also provided services for the police department and fire department. The reason why I'm here today is, the reason why we have a business is that the residents as well as your offices saw our sign displayed on Oakwood Road in front of our building. Our building is far set from the road, and the only way your office as well as the residents of Lake Zurich would know about our services is from our sign. I have been informed by the development office that we cannot have that sign displayed by the road. And the reason was, number one, that we are in multi-tenant building. Our neighbors, the tenants of the building, do not have type of a service we have, and our regular address sign does not inform anybody about our services, nor is it close enough to the road to see it. I'm here today to suggest that perhaps the signage codes could be either flexed or revived or considered for businesses which do need to advertise their services. The owner of our building allowed us 2 signs. He pays $141,000 a year property taxes. In order to meet his obligation, he needs his building to be full and have tenants who can pay the rent. If we are run out of the business because nobody would know what we provide, we would have to leave the building, and this very unusual space we lease would be empty, and the owner of our building may not be able to fill it and pay his property taxes. We are in a business complex. We are not in residential area. If needed, we would be more than willing to build a permanent sign, but the rules as they are today, they would run us out of business. What I was offered was to have temporary sign for 30 days, take it down again for 30 days, then 30 days, 4 times a year. Imagine you are driving by our road in March and you see our sign. In April, you are ready to bring your boat, your sofa, your patio furniture, your police chairs, and the sign is not there. You would naturally assume that we are out of business, we moved out, we closed down. I am begging you here to provide us with an opportunity to advertise our services to the residents of your community, 12 months a year, the same way as brokers and property owners advertise their signs for lease, for sale, for hiring. We are not doing anything extraordinary. We just try to provide you with the best services, and we try to stay in business. Thank you very much for your consideration.
So what is your business?
We are an upholstery business.
An upholstery business.
We upholster boats, home furnishing, patio. We upholster chairs for your police department. We upholster ambulance chairs. We upholster RVs. We upholster cars. Any type of upholstery or restoration, those type of services we provide.
So just two more points. One is, this is the first we've heard of this, so we'll have to get back with you. I know that you left a letter up on, dropped a
Yes, I
letter
did.
off at the window, and I just opened it as we came down here, so.
I did not know how else to contact you.
And the second thing is, you don't pay $141,000 in property taxes to the Village of Lake Zurich. You
No,
pay
the owner
something-
does.
Yeah, I understand. The owner doesn't pay it to the Village of Lake Zurich. Most of that, 70% of that probably goes to the school district, so.
I understand.
Just to be clear, that we're not taking $141,000.
I'm fully aware of that. I just wanted to make a point that it is in best interest to have full building with tenants who can pay the rent. And in order for us to be solvent, we need to continue attract customers who see our sign. And 99.9% of them come from the sign.
Okay.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Last chance for public comment. There's one more person in the back. He didn't sign in. You're together. Okay, good deal. All right, well then I'll close public comment and move on to the president's report. I only have one comment tonight, and that's on the success of Purple Plunge at Breezewall Park this past Saturday. Congratulations to Paul Hunt and his board of unpaid volunteers. And despite the fire at Scoreboard Bar and Grill, Scoreboard did a great job of providing a couple of tents for the event in the parking lot. 500-plus plungers jumped in the lake, and they've raised, at last count, they're still counting, over $227,000 in donations. So proving once again that working together in the community is stronger than cancer. Great job to those guys for what they did. So that's the end of my president's report. We move on to the consent agenda. The titles on the consent agenda will be read by the clerk and approved by a single roll call vote. Any item on the consent agenda may be pulled for discussion or separate vote by any member of the board. Clerk Johnson, would you please read the titles?
6A, approval of minutes from the Village Board meeting of February 18th, 2025. 6B, approval of executive session minutes from the Village Board meeting of January 21st, 2025. 6C, approval of semi-monthly warrant register dated March 3rd, 2025, totaling $803,088.58. 6D, ordinance approving the annual official zoning map of the Village of Lake Zurich, assigned ordinance 2025-03-604. 6E, agreement with Microsoft Enterprise for server and desktop software in the amount not to exceed $128,000.
Okey-doke, thank you. Are there any board questions, or is discussion needed on any item, or any item requested for a separate vote? Okay, then I'll make a motion to approve the consent agenda as presented, and I need a second, please.
So moved, Riley.
And Clerk Johnson, please call the roll.
Trustee Euchre?
Aye.
Trustee Marks?
Aye.
Trustee Riley?
Aye.
Trustee Shagru?
Aye.
Trustee Wider?
Aye. Okay,
Motion
thank you.
carries.
The consent agenda passes. We'll move on to the one item of new business that we have. Trustee Wider will handle that one. Trustee Wider.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Solid waste contract with Lakeshore Recycling Systems for Village franchise, 5-year agreement for refuge, recycling, and yard waste collection. Lake Zurich's current contract with Lakeshore Recycling Systems for solid waste hauling services expires on August 31st, 2025. LRS proposes an 8% increase in the first year, effective September 1st, 2025, with 4% increase each of the remaining years for 4 years. With an 8% year one increase, most residents would have to pay an additional $2.16 per month, while those on reduced senior plans would pay an extra $1.94 a month. Upon consultation with the Solid Waste Agency of Lake County, as well as due diligence with comparing costs and service levels for almost every municipality in Lake County, village staff considers the LRS proposal reasonable and recommends approval.
Okay.
Good evening. We know changing garbage companies is tough and it's a burden on the community. It's swapping carts, new drivers learning new routes, changes in billing cycles, and changes in collection days. These are all best avoided unless there's a good reason to do so. For the past 4 years, we've seen LRS come into Lake Zurich, grow rapidly across the region, struggle maybe a little bit, but most importantly, we've seen LRS commit to consistent operational improvement, and they have tremendously improved since they started working for Lake Zurich in 2021. There's two main questions tonight. One is, can we save money by switching to a new hauler? The short answer is no. Second question, can we get better service for residents if we switch haulers? Again, the short answer is no. Even with the 8% year one increase effective in September, our new monthly rate would be right in line with the rates of other Lake County municipalities, especially comparing apples to apples, really looking at the towns that offer leaf vacuuming and basically unlimited yard waste collection at 15 bags with no stickers. We're right in line. It's a very reasonable price increase, even if 8% sounds like a lot. Looking at maybe saving a little bit, if we thought it was a critical priority to reduce garbage hauling costs, we could knock off maybe $3.50, $4 a month if we eliminated leaf vacuuming. But it's pretty clear nobody wants to do that. We engaged with a few HOAs in town, talked to a lot of neighbors. I don't think anybody wants to eliminate leaf vacuuming. One small thing that's changing for the better in this new contract is the bulk item pickup. Instead of 1 item per week, LRS can start picking up 2 bulk items per week once the new contract is in effect. It's kind of a small thing maybe, but we do know people really like and depend on that bulk item pickup, especially when they're cleaning out. One last benefit I want to mention that I didn't put in the staff memo tonight is the special event support we get from them. LRS donates to the village free of charge dozens of porta potties, hand washing stations, and dumpsters for multiple special events throughout the year. So we do appreciate that. LRS Operations Manager Steve Ramos is with us tonight again. If there are questions for the company or anything tough that I can answer. We do think with their continuous improvement in operations combined with a relationship that has worked well for the past 4 or 5 years, they're responsive and they're trying hard and we know they are improving. So we recommend a extension.
Okay, thank you. Steve, want to grab the podium? And you're
See you all again.
Steve Ramos from LRS. Just if the board has any questions or comments, anybody? I saw William moving.
Sure, I can go ahead.
Go ahead.
I mean, one of the things that I think that needs more explicit call out in this document, kudos to Kyle, thank you for laying everything out for us, but in the yard waste collection is the added benefit of food composting, which I take full advantage of. And then one thing that I'd really like to see, if at all possible, is just a 12-month program for food composting, because I have 2 garbage cans filled with compost for you guys to pick up at some point. I tried composting at my house personally one year, and I'll never do it again. It's horrible. And composting is one of those super easy, low-hanging fruit things that individuals and families can do to lower their carbon footprint when it comes to the waste they generate. So if that's at all possible, that's something I'd like to see. And then having a bunch of trees on my yard, I am one of those people that takes advantage of the leaf vacuuming, so I am totally on board for preserving that benefit. So one of the things that I've learned throughout my professional career is change is uncomfortable, and it should only be undertaken if you know that there's a benefit to be gained down the line. And as Kyle mentioned, there's no tangible benefit to be gained by going out and trying to court another trash hauler right now.
To touch
Okay.
on that organics, we could propose it if we ever want to talk about it in deeper conversations. The difficult part about it, or the easy part about doing it now during the yard waste program, is that it's a combined program, right? And so if you throw it out for the additional 4 months, it's that labor and that truck cost that would go into it, and then things start increasing again in pricing. So it's the offset. But I do agree with you, the organics, if you can do it all year round. So there's some communities that we do it, and they do pay for it. It is a tough program to get everybody on board, right? To say, I'm gonna pay an additional, whatever
Sure.
it may be, and then a lot of people not take advantage of it.
That's
right?
fair.
Yeah.
William?
Yeah, so Kyle, I appreciate the due diligence and all this, and I think maybe for the residents that either didn't watch our last session or watching live today, can you just recap the other comparables? Like, what other companies did we look at? How many other municipalities did we look at in terms of services and prices? Just so they know, like, the magnitude of the due diligence you did behind putting this together.
Sure. Well, we looked at, it's got to be every municipality in Lake County, maybe 2 or 3 excluded, but we ranked them all. Some towns are paying as much as $36.50 a month and not getting leaf vacuuming. We are in the bottom 1/3 of all Lake County municipalities in what we pay, even though we get a lot of services that other residents don't. Comparing apples to apples, looking at leaf vacuuming and sticker-free yard waste, which is rare to have both of those in the same town. It's Wakanda, Lake Villa, Gurney, and Warren Township, and then us. Those are the apples to apples. And we're all like within $1, $1.50 of each other, even after this and September 1st takes effect. So we're all right where we should be. In terms of other garbage companies, there's not many anymore. There's Group, there's Flood, Waste Management. And if we want to keep leaf vacuuming, Group and Flood are out. And frankly, Waste Management is no longer bidding competitively in Lake County.
Thank you, Kyle. and thanks
Which
to
is
the
why
staff.
we changed in the first place.
To help also paint that picture, and you know, kudos again to Kyle. He started the proposal or the renewal, the conversations of renewing the contract, back in July, right? So over, 12 months before this contract actually comes up to renew. And knowing the relationship, we had those deep conversations, and as I said in the last board meeting, 2 months ago, we utilized our costs at that time, and Lake Zurich is actually taking advantage of that because of the economy. I mean, we used labor costs and fuel costs that we can project back in July of 2024. By the time we presented cost, and a month later, just February here, we know that the cost of labor has already increased $1.50 than what we projected. So, the early conversations, again, kudos to Kyle to start them, that's where the advantage has come in. And if you did go out to open the RFP, those costs would increase. Not to mention, again, this leaf vac service that is, what we've talked about prior, was a very premium service, that there are less haulers. So there is a good high demand for the service, and there are less providers, let's put it that way. So that cost alone would increase significantly. So all these new proposals that are going out and the competitors getting out of the game, there's some significant increases that those municipalities will incur, I should say, by contracting. I mean, it's just a high demand for that service.
So that being said, do you see that leaf vacuuming service going away at some point in time?
No, in fact, that's where we're taking advantage as Lakeshore. It's a service. You guys had originally signed with Prairie Land, a great company, right? And they actually, through the acquisition of LRS to Prairie Land, we were introduced to that service and decided whether or not we wanted to continue in that game or not, just like our competitors, right? most of them bailing. It's a difficult service to provide. It's only done for 8 weeks for a season, right? So you buy, assets of $330,000 per truck. Then you have the difficulty of finding that labor, which is truly only 2 months of labor, right? So it's hard to find drivers, CDL drivers, experienced drivers, and to just work for 8 weeks. So that being said, we've invested more into it, knowing that it's becoming a service that's hard to get out there. But we're committed to it.
Okay. Anybody? MB, Mary Beth?
Thank you. Kyle, first of all, I want to thank you for all your efforts, not only just the research that you've done in this, but I think you fielded a lot of customer service complaints and tallied those and kept track of those and kept us apprised of those. And just for the residents, you saw a marked increase in those customer service responses from the company. And you communicated that to us, that there was more responsive, they've hired more people to kind of entertain those questions or complaints or concerns. So thanks for keeping us apprised of that. The other thing is, I think because of the switch over from Prairie Land to LRS, a lot of the residents would talk to me about, they thought it was like a bait and switch sort of situation. Could you, sir, please speak to LRS, like how old of a company is it? How many suburbs do you approximately service? That sort of thing in terms of the viability.
Yeah. So, I've been with the company since it had 2 trucks. Basically, I was hired 8 months after Josh Connell, who started the company back in 2001. Again, been with them since 2001 and have grown the company now. We are in 8 states, but it's the original, let's say, 15 years was just organic growth, and it grew because of the customer service orientation and basing it off of service alone. We didn't advertise, we didn't have any marketing, we didn't even know what a marketing department was, right? So it was truly due to word of mouth and our networking. Again, grown into 8 states, have an investment group which has allowed us to become a bigger picture, right? Of instead of hauling garbage, we were known as Lakeshore Waste Services. Now we're known as Lakeshore Recycling Services because we changed the direction of the company of just hauling the garbage. We then, and I talked about that recycling last meeting, was the difference between us and the other garbage companies is that we focus on trying to divert as much as we possibly can, right, from garbage to recycling. So the original business model was never to own a landfill, but we ended up buying a landfill so we can be a full circle and leverage, I should say. We were able to leverage our disposal cost, right, instead of having the conglomerates control that cost on us. But I hope I'm answering your question. The history of it is really based off of the customer service orientation. We try to focus on that. As we continue to grow, it's become a difficult part to get more and more employment, and that training is a long process of training. So as Kyle had done the research and seen, we are continuing to do so. And also, just nowadays, it's harder to find CDL drivers. There's just a lack of them, right? And we pay higher benefits, and we pay our drivers well, and all employees, period, from customer service all the way to drivers, even middle management, right? To try to progress with the business, with the line of businesses.
Thank you very much. That gives me a good idea of the profile, where you came from, where you're headed. I appreciate it.
You also have a reasonably convenient drop-off place up in Wakanda.
We do, yeah.
For what can you drop off there?
You can drop off electronics, is what the main thing is there.
Pumpkins in October.
Pumpkins in
Pumpkins,
October, yeah. We do, again, we try to think of different programs that we can make it easier for the residents to, divert from landfill. And that's also with their relationship with Swalco, right? They help provide and support us on that too, and we support them back.
Okay. Back when we decided to go to bid 2001, I think it was, when Waste Management was going to hit us with a pretty large increase. We did it as a team with Wakanda and with us, and I forget.
Yeah, a
Deer Park was
consortium, I think is the word, right? It's,
consortium, okay.
Yeah, and it was 5 municipalities.
I don't know that they all stayed, or they all stayed to the end, but.
Yours is the first contract coming up on it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, but
That's what I was going to get to. Are the other ones staying with you as well? Because I know that one of them who didn't finish up with us in the consortium, went on their own with you.
I don't know, I wasn't part of that contract. Obviously, it was Steve Schweinsberg, the original owner, who negotiated those contracts. I want to say that out of the 5, 4 had signed with Prairie Land. And the current negotiations are positive.
Good.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's, very positive.
Okay. Anybody else?
No, I think one thing to also call out, especially snowbird season, is the vacation hold that you guys do. It sounds like you just got a call right and you can hold it for 3 months a year. That's probably a good service that sometimes maybe isn't noticed. Leaf vacuuming is key. I mean, my kids, other than liking to jump in the pile, get it off of my curb, please. So appreciate that. Holiday tree disposal, like I said, I'm a big fan. I think you guys covered most of the topics last time. And Kyle, again, thank you for all the hard work on that one. So.
Okay. Everybody good? Okey doke. Thanks, Steve. Appreciate it. Kyle, any last comments?
No.
Okay.
Then I'd like to make a motion to approve the Lakeshore Recycling System solid waste contract for a 5-year franchise agreement for refuge recycling and yard waste collection.
Second, Marks.
And Kathleen, would you please call the roll?
Trustee Marks?
Aye.
Trustee Riley?
Aye.
Trustee Shagru?
Aye.
Trustee Wider?
Aye.
Trustee Euchre?
Aye.
Okay, we're in business. Thanks, Steve. Kyle, thank you. That's it for our new business tonight. We move on to trustee reports. Are there any trustee reports or stray comments tonight? No? Okay, how about staff reports? Anybody? Okay, well then that concludes our regular business for tonight. We will be adjourning to executive session called for the purpose of 5 ILCS 120/2C21 review of executive session minutes, 5 ILCS 120/2C5 purchase or lease of real estate, and 5 ILCS 120/2C6 setting price for sale lease of real estate. There will be no voting action or board business discussed after closed session, so the adjournment of closed session will be the final adjournment and the end of the meeting. So, may I have a motion to adjourn tonight's regular meeting to executive session, and a second, please?
So moved. Euchre?
Second, Marks.
Marks and Kathleen, please call the roll.
Trustee Riley?
Aye.
Trustee Shagru?
Aye. Aye.
Trustee Wider?
Aye.
Trustee Euchre?
Aye.
Trustee Marks?
Aye.
Okay,
Motion
we are
carries.
adjourned. Next meeting, March 17th. Thanks for watching. Stay safe and stay healthy.